Hey, it's Chris Roach from Kevin Can Wait, and I'm on Comedy Matters TV with the guy behind the camera, Jeffrey Gurian.
Hey, it's Jeffrey Gurian here for Comedy Matters TV, and I'm here with my buddy Chris Roach, who plays Mott on the new show on CBS called Kevin Can Wait. How's it going?
So, what's going on, Jeff?
Hey, well, thanks for coming down, man.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. It's so exciting to be on a CBS sitcom.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Tell me, how did this come about? How did Kevin find you?
Kevin found me. I was working at a comedy club in Bohemia, which is on Long Island. It was a Wednesday night. Colin Quinn, I remember he was working out a new special. There was maybe 40 people in the crowd, and I'm opening up for him, just doing 10 minutes. I'm in the back looking at my notes, and in my peripheral, I see somebody walk in and sit in the back, and I look, and right away I recognize that it's Rock Rubin and Kevin James. Of course, my heart rate starts picking up. And
while you're on stage, this happened.
Those happened to me when I was a minute. They were saying my credits. I remember saying to myself, okay, just calm down. My cadence is a little slower than most people, so I'm like, just keep to your cadence, keep to your character, and just stay, be yourself, whatever. And I got off stage. I didn't get to meet him that night, but I met him a few months later. We got to talking, and we hit it off right away. And then I saw the breakdown on the internet for the part on his show. Called my manager right away. She got me the audition and everything. It was just, it's been so surreal. It's such a surreal experience. Now,
but that's such an interesting story, and I didn't expect it to turn out that way. What I envisioned was that he saw you that night, and he said, hey, you're perfect for this part. Let me give it to you. He left, and you didn't even get a chance to meet him that night.
I didn't even get to meet him that night. And the funny thing is, when I found out I got the part, my manager called me up and said, Kevin James is going to call you. Stay by your phone. And at the time, my wife and I live in my dad's house on Long Island. We were getting the carpets cleaned. There's this huge machine out front, and the guy's with the hose. He's inside the house. I mean, so loud. I'm freaking out. My wife says, take the car, drive down the block, and calm down. So I'm going to walk out the door, and this big guy who's cleaning my carpets is blocking the doorway. And he's like, Mister, let me show you something. He has like a can of carpet cleaner. He starts pouring it down on my feet. I'm like, guy, I don't have the time. He goes, no, 1 minute. I'm like, guy, I don't have the time. I'm
doing a demonstration for you?
I'm screaming for my wife, Diane, get over here right now. I'm like, guy, the rest of my life is on the other side of you. Please get out of the way right now. And then I was driving down the road, and I thought I had time. I was driving to Burger King to get something to eat, and I see the call come from California, and I pick it up, and it's them. And I can't even remember much of the conversation.
You went into a blackout.
Yeah. Thank you. And they said a lot of nice things. Then I hung up with them. I paused. I thought about just trying to process what just happened. I called my wife, and I think I got like 2 words out, and I just started babbling, crying. Oh my God! And she's like, what happened? Is it good? Is it bad? I'm like, it's good. She's like, calm down, breathe.
It's an amazing story. But what did you use for your audition tape? In other words, Kevin left that night. He didn't talk to you. You had no idea if he liked you or not.
Right.
A few months go by, and you happen to see the audition, the casting notice.
The casting notice.
Where'd you see it?
I saw it on Actors Access, which is a great website for actors. And I saw it come, the breakdown for 2 characters. And I called my manager. I said, get me the size for both characters, in case they asked me to play the other character. And it happened just that way. I auditioned for the one character. It went well, but they said, do me a favor, go back out, take the script, and read it for this other character. And I'm like, okay. And I had already seen the sides. And the breakdown of the character was giant, long-suffering, father of 7. I'm like, well, I'm giant and long-suffering. And it just clicked. It just felt right. It just felt right immediately.
So you are a big guy. Were you ever bullied as a kid?
Believe it or not, yes.
You were, really?
Because I was. I mean, I'm big now, but when I was in elementary school, I was very, very skinny. Even in high school, I think I was 6'4", 160 pounds. I was so skinny, and I was the victim of a bully for a little while. But it was, you know, I'll never forget that. I was bullied, and I was going home. My parents, what's the matter? I'm like, I just don't feel well. I was going home from school sick. Until one time, you know, it was almost like that scene from, I don't know if you ever saw the Christmas Story where the bully's picking on the kid and all of a sudden he snaps and attacks the bully. It was like a moment.
I love stories like that.
Yeah. It was a moment like that where I snapped and I just attacked him, and all of a sudden we became best friends for the rest of our lives, you know, from that moment.
Did they kid you about your last name? Roach? Because that's a tough name to grow up with.
And people think it's a stage name. My real last name is Roach, R-O-A-C-H. And, you know, like a few years ago, I'm signing a check, C. Roach. The teller looks at it. She's like, "Is your first name Kaka?" I'm like, "Shut up." You know, but you know, it was funny. In elementary school, they tease you about the name. And then as you get older, the name Roach has a meaning connects to marijuana. So all of a sudden you become cool. Hey, Roach! It's a cool name, yeah.
Isn't that funny how that would change?
Yeah. Then I remember one time I'm raking the lawn with my dad. We're bagging leaves. Some guy from school, they drive by. Somebody leans out the window, goes, "Hey, Roach!" And my father looks at me like, "You want to tell me something?" I'm like, I don't know. And there was it was funny too. There was a drug dealer in my high school, and that was his nickname, Roach. So people would come up to me and say, "Hey, man, you got any pot on you?" I'm like, "No, I don't sell drugs. I don't do drugs." I don't sell. "Come on, man, you're Roach, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "We know you. They told us to come see you." I'm like, "I'm not the guy. I'm not." It happens to me all the time.
That's crazy, because these days bullying is a big topic. Everybody is anti-bullying about what goes on in schools, but you never think that someone who's big would get bullied, but it happens to everybody.
It does. I mean, like I said, I was a very skinny kid, and I always remember that. And funny is, like, being a big guy, most guys that I meet that are big tend to be very passive. And I cannot tell you in my 20s how many fights I got into with short guys
who wanted to prove themselves.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Guy, I just want to hang out and have a good time." And the chest is out. I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And you look stupid when you fight a little guy. If you beat him up, you look stupid. If you lose, you look stupid. So it's like you lose.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Guy, you know, how about I buy you a drink?" And, you know, forget that I accidentally bumped into you.
Yeah, they call it beer muscles.
Beer muscles. Oh.
There's a lot of men who shouldn't drink.
Yes.
Absolutely. Men and alcohol don't mix all the time.
Especially short Italian men. What?
Exactly. Is your wife really Puerto Rican? I read that.
Yes. My wife is, well, the truth is my wife's Argentinian, adopted into a Puerto Rican family. But in my act, she's very Puerto Rican, you know? But so, like with the accent, which I think is very sexy.
Oh, it is.
She doesn't have the accent. Yeah. You know, so some of her relatives who have a little bit of the accent, they'll come up to me and like, "Who are you talking about on stage?" I'm like, "Oh, it's funnier with an accent. It's funnier on stage as she has got the accent."
And the Spanish accent is great. I had a Chinese girlfriend. You want to kill yourself with a Chinese accent.
Oh my God,
it's the worst.
Well, okay.
It's not good. Tell me about your part as Mott. What's your character like on the show?
My character is Kevin, myself, and the two other actors who play his friends were retired Nassau County police officers. And my character, I'm one of his good friends from the police department. And I guess you could say I'm not the sharpest crayon in the box. Yeah. So there's really a good mix of characters between the four of us. Is a really good mix. And Mott is, you know, he's not too far from who I am. He's not too far from. We dressed the same, you know. So there really wasn't a lot of acting involved to play Mott.
What was the audition process like for you when your manager sent them a tape of you? Is that what happened, or did you fly to L.A.
No, I just.
Oh, it was here actually. They shoot it from Long Island, right?
Yeah, I tried to come into the city. I forgot where exactly I went, but I came in. Mark Hirschfeld was the casting director, great guy, and I've met him before, so I was glad to see it was him. So I came into the city, I auditioned, and they had asked to see, after they were interested, they asked to see any demo I had as far as they wanted to see all acting. They wanted to see my acting reel and economy reel, because I guess they were trying to get a feel for how I would play Mott. But I found out, you know, after the show has been airing, and I found out that Kevin was very insistent that I was the guy for the part.
Really? Was he there at the audition?
He wasn't there at the audition, but when I found out, like Kevin's security guy, this guy Danny Guire, great guy. I found out that
smaller than you.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's. I found out that when they were watching me on stage, 5 minutes into my act, Danny leaned over to Kevin and said, "That's your guy," because I guess they were looking for somebody like me, and he said, "That's your guy right there." And so I owe that guy, I owe Danny a lot too.
Yeah, that's great. That's such a great story. You have a very eclectic background. You also do like voiceover work.
A little bit. I like to get more into it. I've done some voiceover work, not a lot, but that's an area I would like to get into more, the voiceover acting, and you know.
And you're still doing stand-up too, right? Do you have time while you're doing the show? Are you currently filming right now?
Yeah, currently filming right now, but we film like a 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So during the 1 week hiatus, I try to book myself on like on a Thursday, Sunday. But on the weeks we film, I try to do Saturday only shows. And plus, being on Long Island, we have the 3 clubs. I can always bounce to any of the clubs. And
which clubs are there?
The Governors. They have 3 of them: McGuire's, Bohemia, the original Governors in Levittown, and they have the Brokerage in Belmore. So I've been hitting those clubs.
Do you find it easier to get booked since you're on CBS?
Yes, I find it a lot easier to get booked, and I'm hoping to get booked more in the city. I need to come in. I always came into the city trying to do comedy, but I learned early on that it's all about TV credits. So I'm like, you know what? I'll get TV credits, then I'll come back.
No, that's the way to do it. People respond to that. That's as we were saying before. If you're 20.
Oh, just knocked the picture off your wall.
Oh, really? Okay, that's okay. Which one was it? Anyone that I need?
I don't know. Who was that? I don't know.
I'll fix it. Don't worry about it. So, of all pictures, you knock off Judd Apatow off the wall. Isn't that funny?
Not a very good career move right there.
I won't tell him. I promise.
Okay, good.
What would you like to do? I mean, look, you're on a CBS sitcom. That is huge. Where would you like to go from there? What's your next goal?
My next goal is I would like to record a 1-hour comedy special. I'm 5 minutes away. I need 5 more minutes of good material. I would love to do a late night spot. That's every comic's dream, to do a late night spot. And of course, continue with the acting. It's something I think the comedy led me into the acting. And I started taking acting classes to become a better stand-up comedian on stage. And I just fell in love with the art of acting. Went to a great teacher, Joanna Bexon, and I started to learn what good acting felt like. Like when you're in a scene and it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. It's a feeling. But when it feels right, it's a really good feeling. It's silly.
It's like hitting harmony. If you ever sang with a group or something like that, or when you get a great reaction from the audience when you tell a good joke.
Yes, it's kind of, I would say that, like that when you get that's a great analogy, comedy, if you get that joke that hits, it just feels good. And
the whole audience is just roaring with laughter. You just feel that. There's nothing like that.
It's great, and then you get that back and forth, that rhythm, almost like a boxing match going. It's great. It's a great feeling, it really is.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming in today, man. It was really great to talk to you.
Great talking to you, brother.
And I wish you all the best.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Comedy Matters TV. To check out some of our other videos, click on the boxes on either side of me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Not just for me, but for my parents.